A good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
And we welcome you into a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Dave Van Horn's a funny guy, man. He always cracks me up. Some of the quips, some of the things he has to say during a post-game press conference. You learn a lot by listening to Arkansas skipper, his baseball coach. Again, the prowess, the intelligence, stuff that he consistently talks about. There's a reason that he's had a lot of success here, not just in Fayetteville, Arkansas, but Lincoln, Nebraska, and other pit stops along the way. Baseball team had success in Columbia, South Carolina this weekend as they take 2 of 3 against the Gamecocks. No game on Sunday, doubleheader on Saturday where Arkansas took the third and final game and clinched the series against a gritty South Carolina team who was really trying to get above 500. Instead, they find themselves, as of this morning, at 9-9 in league play. And you are atop of the SEC West. Not really a hot take to say Arkansas baseball is good. There are still some issues. Well, I think 1 of 19 with runners on the bag this weekend, on Friday. Got a little better in Saturday's game 3, not so much in game number 2. End of the day, though, you win a tough top 25 series on the road in this league, and that's what matters as we get going here on a Hot Take Monday. And as always, Hot Take Monday is brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. Really appreciate Lee J and Chris being a part of this for quite some time. The best selection of RVs got better in Northwest Arkansas, across here in Northwest Arkansas. They've got now Brinkley RVs to their loaded lineup of Grand Design, Forest River products. Come check them out. Again, the Brinkley Model RZ. It's the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, it comes with a lifetime warranty to help you camp with confidence. Come see him 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. As you can maybe tell this morning, I'm still not 100%. As soon as the allergies kind of subsided to a little bit, I guess a cold came on. So that's just par for the course when it comes to dealing with health and dealing with your voice box. It's just part of it, I guess. But we have plenty to discuss, not just Arkansas baseball that won a series this weekend. I want to talk about several pitchers, Hagen Smith, Gabe Gackle, the young freshman from California, Brady Tigert, who had himself a solid Saturday, really one of his better ones of the season. But I also want to talk about the softball team where Big Z and Coach Cal got a chance to mingle with some fans, which I thought was cool. For the first time in program history, Courtney Deifel's group wins back-to-back series against Alabama, which has been one of the better softball programs in the Southeastern Conference. A little shakeup in the SEC. Baseball this weekend. I'll tell you kind of where things are headed in that direction baseball-wise. Also, I think it's, I'm going to double-check it during the break, but Jock, the guy from Florida who's been magnificent, hit 9 straight homers in games. It was broken this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee against Vanderbilt, but pretty special for, I think it's Castiglione, and what he was able to accomplish this weekend. NBA playoffs in full swing, got started, not just the play-in tournament, but you also had actual playoffs. The Oklahoma City Thunder ended up winning late last night. Congratulations to Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams, 2 former Razorbacks. We'll tell you how some of the other guys fared this weekend as we chug along here on a Hot Take Monday. Also, FedEx announced that they are doing something big with NIL in Memphis, which I found kind of interesting. I know that there's a lot of connections to FedEx here in the natural state, but I found it interesting their partnership with Memphis Athletics and how that impacts the future there in Memphis. NFL drafts this week. I know people are excited about that. You have your favorite NFL team. We got a lot of Cowboys fans listening. We got a lot of Kansas City Chiefs fans listening. Who do you want your team to draft this week? That's a big question. Who do you not want them to draft to? I know people are not sold on certain guys. You're sold on others. It's always entertaining to hear what people think about the NFL draft and how that shakes out. There's always a team or two that goes in a direction you did not expect them to whatsoever, and then the teams that just confuse you on why they go about things a certain way. It's part of the NFL draft and part of the intrigue starting on Thursday. And Arkansas players, there'll be some Arkansas players that'll be mentioned this week. I don't know how many players you'll have drafted, but I am excited to see where the likes of Cam Little, Dwight McLarty, and others end up, what NFL teams they're either picked up by in free agency or the select few that will be drafted starting, not Thursday. You're not going to have anyone drafted on Thursday, but that is something to keep an eye on this week, something to actually watch outside of just baseball. We'll fire up the Cal Tracker too this morning, what John Calipari has reportedly been up to, and I can't with 100% authenticity say what he's been up to outside of we seeing him in Bogle Park this weekend, but the reports are always rampant during the transfer portal, and I think it's made an entertaining part of college basketball and college football. But what's the trade-off, right? As college football announced this weekend the change to radios and helmets and the 2-minute warning, we are seeing a really, not a submergence, but college is becoming more and more like the NFL on a daily basis, it seems like. And I don't know long-term if that's good for college football. Now, ratings will tell us that college football is in a pretty good spot right now. I don't know if that's going to be something that we look back in 10, 20, 30 years and say it was good for the sport for them to continue in the NFL direction. But it's kind of a wait-and-see type of moments. We've also got our morning rush daily question. I also want to discuss women's basketball too, on how I think they have a chance to really capitalize on what's going on in college sports and mainstays, how important they are, because in the WNBA, unlike in men's college basketball, you have to stay 3 years before moving on to the NBA draft. You also got some football commitments. I heard Derek and Zach speaking to some of those on Friday. I guess it was just one. It was Rodney Hill, the Florida State kid. But you also got another one over the weekend, Larry Worth, a Jacksonville State linebacker. So a lot to get to. I unpacked about 10 or so things there in the morning rush. So we've got a loaded show. Chuck Barrett joins us in about 20 minutes from now. Get his thoughts on the baseball team and the variety of topics that I just spoke to. Hopefully, as the voice, I've been taking this throat coat tea the last few days, cough drops, allergy medicine, trying to get this voice back to health. Hopefully by the end of the week, it will do just that. Hey, betting's always fun, and we always love talking to Lang Whitman, as Chuck got a chance to do on Friday, and what's going down at Oaklawn. Kentucky Derby's coming up, and if you're looking for the best sports app, Oaklawn Sports is there. You can do it. You can load your card, reload your account with debit cards, credit cards, PayPal, ACH, and the on-site cash at the Oaklawn Sportsbook. Sign up today and get first bet insurance up to $250, and they have that offer on their way for new and existing Oaklawn Sports customers. It's a great way to bet for all your sports wagering, and it's easy. Oaklawn, the king of betting, the king of horse racing, the king of the best resort in Arkansas. That's Oaklawn Casino, Racing and Resort. All right, a lot to discuss here as we get on here on the Morning Rush. Sorry, I'm still trying to recover from this voice a little bit. When we return, I want to talk about what Dave Van Horn had to say about the series win over South Carolina this weekend. It's a Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guns.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Prescriptions require require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
This is the Morning Rush.
Childs, please. Touchdown.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen, or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Is with living legends in this state. And anytime I get to talk to Chuck, it's a privilege and an honor to speak to you. And as long as you, Ty, even though you're a little wet behind the ears.
1-0. High fly ball into right center, carrying on the run is Peyton Holt. A lunging catch near the warning track by Peyton Holt.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
And we welcome you back into the Morning Rush. You heard one of the highlights from Peyton Holt there on the weekend series win against South Carolina. We're also going to hear from Dave Van Horn coming up, his thoughts on the weekend. But me and Colton were discussing something during the break. Colton's one of our new team members here at ESPN Arkansas. Jack Caglione had 9 straight games with a home run. Florida Gators outstanding pitcher and batter. I mean, it's not often you see the likes of someone like Shohei Ohtani. It's just very rare in today's, not just college baseball, high school baseball, much less professional league. But we saw him 9 straight games hit a home run. I want to talk about him coming up in just a bit, and then also, again, what happened in Columbia, South Carolina this weekend. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Farm Credit. For over a century, your friends and neighbors at Farm Credit of Western Arkansas have helped you keep your farm or ranch up and running through the good times and the tough ones. You can visit myaglender.com or drop by one of our 25 locations near you and see how a Farm Credit of Western Arkansas can keep your farm or ranch operating from sunrise to sunset. That's, again, myaglender.com or one of their 25 locations in Arkansas. So listen to this again. Jack Caglione, 9 straight homers, tied the all-time record with a former University of Nevada player who also did the same thing back in 2021, 3 years ago. So not that long. The last at-bat in the game he got in Nashville, as they were at Hawkins Field this weekend, he was intentionally walked, which I know some Gators fans, some college baseball fans were frustrated with. They wanted to see him, see if he could go 10 straight games. Now, he got some other at-bats during the course of that game, but the last one, he was intentionally walked. This is remarkable. This is just special, and you'll get a chance to watch it this weekend in Baum-Walker Stadium, which is why I think it's significant, is we're not just talking about some kid that plays out west that you're never going to see. You will see him in Baum-Walker Stadium this weekend, and he is one of the guys, Colton, definitely in the likes of Hagen Smith. There's another position player or two out there in the SEC, and then there's the Oregon State guy that I'm forgetting his name, but all in line for being a finalist for the Golden Spikes Award.
Yeah, the Florida team, they have a lot different. They have a lot different sort of look than we do. They have a lot of hitting and not a lot of pitching, unfortunately, right now. But yeah, Caglione, he can really swing it, and he actually has a higher record than the MLB record for consecutive games with the home run. There are 3 guys tied for that with 8 consecutive games.
Wow.
Caglione actually has 9, so it's very impressive. I can't wait to see him swing it this weekend.
I think it's surprising that, like, Tyler Bassetti kid who played for Nevada just a couple years ago, the fact that it's so close that these guys were able to. I would have thought this was a record that was long ago. I know home run is more prevalent in baseball nowadays, but you're just not seeing I'm just kind of surprised that you're seeing it as close as it is with these records. But enough about Caglione. Let's talk about your baseball team, the Arkansas Razorbacks, this weekend, who again got a series win against the South Carolina Gamecocks, which was encouraging to see. Yes, they left some guys, and I say left some guys. They left a lot of guys on this Friday. They were 1 for 19 with guys on the base paths, and I know that was really frustrating for Dave Van Horn. But, and the key word is but, you got a series win. You got that game 1 win. But listen, he got asked about, it was kind of funny, he got asked about driving in runs and just what they were able to do in that. Here's what he said, kind of joking about how they managed to get through game 3 with actually bringing guys home versus what we saw in game number 1.
The difference is they just did a good job driving in runs. What'd you say? We were 6 for 41 or something, or 46. That's kind of hard to swallow because when you think about it, if we had runners all over the bases, and finally today we busted it open there in the 7th.
It did bust it open a little bit in a 9-6 victory, and that 9-6 I think is a little when you hear 9-6, you're saying, oh, well, the starter didn't have that good of a performance for Arkansas baseball. If you actually watch the game, which I know many of you did, or listen to it right here on ESPN Arkansas, hitthatline.com, and our Hit That Line Now app, you would know that Brady Tigert had one of his better performances of the season for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And it was encouraging to see for not just Dave Van Horn, but Tigert cracked me up and just kind of what he said after the fact, just getting strikes thrown. And here was him on his outing.
I learned how to throw strikes again, so that worked really well for me. Just mixing everything, and it was really good to win that game 3, especially after we dropped the one at Bama last week. That's big for our team.
After he said, I learned how to throw strikes again, him and Kendall Diggs both smiled as they were both the ones being interviewed after the postgame. It was just kind of a funny moment in the press conference, and if you missed that conversation with not just Dave Van Horn after Game 1 and Games 2 and 3, you also heard from Gabe Gackle, Hagen Smith, Kendall Diggs, and Brady Tigert. It was encouraging to see Kendall back in the lineup. I think he ended up with 2 doubles on Saturday. Again, the game was moved up a day. He had a doubleheader on Saturday, which usually helps out the road team, and it did exactly that when you took and won 2 or 3 against the Gamecocks this weekend. So you're in sole possession of first place in the SEC West. And I want to get into with Chuck as he joins us in about 8 minutes from now or so. The fact that this is the final division race ever in the Southeastern Conference, which is just a bummer. I mean, you think about all the ones that you've had in football, basketball, baseball, and how important those have been over the years. And I know basketball has been changed up a little bit. I don't remember when it stopped, but you haven't had divisions for basketball in a while. It is just kind of a bummer, but maybe you could say, hey, we were the last SEC baseball team to win the SEC West. I think that would be cool. I don't know how much that means for Dave Van Horn, but I think it's an interesting topic as we continue on this Hot Take Monday. And our Hot Take Monday is also brought to you by our friends at The Fence Man. Whether it's residential or commercial, Sean and his team can help you with it all. Residential chain link, vinyl fencing, wood privacy fencing. Here's their number, 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. They can do 18th month, same as cash financing right now. If it involves the word fencing, Sean and his team can help you out. One more time for you, 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. All right, we'll get Chuck's thoughts on just when the baseball's in. His New York Knicks won this weekend, and some other Razorbacks had some impact in some NBA games. All that's coming up here on the Morning Rush.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LimbirdTeam.com. Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon.
Again, Ty?
Yeah, that's the last time. It's the last time you're going to open the mic. It sounds horrible.
Well, I was hoping for some advice from a veteran in this industry.
Well, if you were looking for sympathy, you're in the wrong place.
I don't want sympathy. It's sympathy. I want a remedy. I want to fix this because I got to do the show on Monday. All right, so it's not 100%, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was on Friday. Chuck now joins us as we continue on this Hot Take Monday edition of the Morning Rush. And like we were discussing during the break, can't really get sick in this business. It's just part of the industry. You got to trudge through whatever you're dealing
Well,
with.
you got to take care of that voice, man.
I guess.
You got to take care of that voice.
Cut out the cigs, cut out the excess alcohol. There's a lot of things I probably need to get on my, as I continue to age, as Tommy has taught me from time to time. There's some things that I can't do like I used to.
You just got to battle through, man.
Exactly. Well, they're always battling for you at Wheels RV and Northwest Arkansas, getting you the best deals, the best prices. Chris and Lee J helping you out, and they've got the new Brinkley RVs. So they've had the Grand Design, they've had the Forest River, and now they have the Brinkley Model Z. It's the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels, and it always comes with that lifetime warranty to help you camp with confidence. Stop in and see why Wheels RV has been voted the best RV dealer year after year in Northwest Arkansas. 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Chuck, I do want to ask you about how Arkansas managed to win this weekend in Columbia, South Carolina. But before we do that, I got to talk about this Jack Caglione character who, for 9 straight games, hit a home run. This is a Shohei Ohtani type, can hit, pitches, and is one of the best players, not just in the SEC, in the country. That streak was ended in Nashville, Tennessee this weekend. But this kid's special, and he's coming into your ballpark in just a handful of days.
He's really good. He's probably going to be the National Player of the Year, and deserves to be. I mean, he's a complete player. I mean, I don't know if he's pitching this year or not, to be honest with you, but he's been a two-way guy. He reminds me of Todd Helton, back when Helton played for Tennessee some years back. You know, I was thinking, we had a player in 2014, this was my last year doing baseball, a guy named Aaron Murphy, who hit 10 home runs in the first 10 games of the season. They weren't in successive games, but like he had 8 home runs in 4 games. I mean, it was just incredible. Those who were around remember. But Caglione has done this, not homered 9 straight games, but he's done this, you know, from the minute he stepped on campus. He's the best player in the SEC. We got some good players, and other teams do too, but he's the best one right now.
I was talking with a baseball guy that I really respect that not just watches Arkansas, but watches college and the SEC, and he said as good as Hagen Smith has been, he's probably not going to win the Golden Spikes.
No, Caglione's going to win.
Yeah. And
Caglione's going to win.
And it's understandable based on the statistics and based on the season he's had. And he ended up tying it. So I watched some of it. They intentionally walked him, Chuck, his last at bat in Nashville, so he didn't get a chance to hit that last one.
Well, he's kind of like what Bonds was. You know, when Barry Bonds really had it going. And I mean, they would walk him intentionally, you know, to start an inning. And sometimes they'd walk him, I think there was once or twice literally where they walked him to score a run on the bases loaded as opposed to just pitching to him. And he's kind of like that. But now look, you know, Arkansas's got a better team.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball's not an individual game. None of these games are individual games. He's a spectacular player. And you got to tip your cap to him. But, Vandy won 2 of those 3 games.
It did. Yep.
So, you know, it's not like one guy has been the difference for them. And but look, we talk about winning the Golden Spikes Award. If Florida continues to struggle, I don't know that he'll get the award. I don't know that, you know, there's a team aspect to awards like that, but I think he's the best player in the game. But Florida's not going to come in here and beat the Razorbacks just because they've got Jack Caglione. I mean, he's a great player. But Arkansas's got a better team.
Yeah, and we saw it this weekend in Columbia, South Carolina, where that was a gritty South Carolina team that gave you all you wanted on Friday in a 2-1 loss for them, and then on Saturday got the first of the doubleheader. I know you've spoken to the idea of a doubleheaders a lot of times favor road teams because it's just really hard to win 2 games in one day, and Arkansas did not have a good outing in that game too, even though bases are loaded and they still have a chance to either win or tie that game late in the top of the 9th. But got the better of them on Saturday in that third game. Brady Tigert had himself one of the better performances he's had all season, and they also closed better, as we were talking about that Dave shared with us earlier in the show.
Well, it was a hard-fought series, and they're all hard-fought on the road. And they're not done having hard-fought series. And, again, as we discuss often on this show, this is not football. This is not even basketball. This is a baseball season where you play 65 or 70 games. There's a day-to-dayness to the game. You're not going to win every game. And when you lose a game, frankly, if you lose one game over a weekend, it's not worth breaking down for 4 days like a football loss. Or it's not worth, lamenting until the basketball team plays again. I mean, in baseball, you're back out there the next day, or in the case of a doubleheader, you're back out there in an hour. So you better not get too high, you better not get too low. And it's hard for one good team to sweep a doubleheader from another good team. It's not that there aren't doubleheader sweeps, but usually it's because one of the teams is not very good. There was a doubleheader sweep, I think, Saturday or Friday in the SEC. Well, one team was decidedly better than the other, and that's why they swept. Most of the time, though, when good teams play good teams, you get a split. So when I heard they were going to play a doubleheader Saturday, my thought going into Friday night was this is the rubber game of the series. even though it's probably going to be decided in the final game tomorrow. When you get right down to it, whoever wins Friday night's probably going to win the series.
I was looking at some of the SEC scores from this weekend. Kentucky's atop the SEC East. Arkansas's atop the SEC West. And just a reminder, this will be the final divisional race in the Southeastern Conference, which I want to get into a little later on the show. But one of the things that stood out to me, Chuck, Texas A&M scored 37 runs over the course in 3 days in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I mean, that is a team you close out your season with. They're one game behind you in the standings right now. It sure looks like, based on where both teams are trending, that series is going to decide who wins the final SEC West ever in college baseball here.
Well, it kind of looks like it. I don't think anybody's going to be nostalgic over the fact the Western Division's going away. I don't get that sense from anybody at all. Every weekend's different. That's the thing that I would say, whether you're good, bad, in between. Every weekend's different. I think it's especially true in baseball, but you can say it about all the sports. You lay your money down this weekend based on what happened next weekend, you're probably going to lose a good portion of it. That's just how it works. And I'm sure when we get to that weekend, if there's a championship on the line, it's going to be hard fought. Both those teams right now are looking like national seeds. And, Kentucky, and Florida will be tougher than you think.
Yeah, and you still have, I think with Florida coming in here 8-10, you just kind of expect Arkansas to be able to win that series, but their backs are, quote-unquote, against the wall, and they're doing their best. They're going to come in here with everything they got to try and get an SEC Road Series win this weekend.
8 and 10 teams in the SEC are good teams.
Yep.
They're good teams. And those teams end up in Omaha. Teams that finish right around 500 in the SEC, maybe a game or two over, sometimes even a game under. Those teams will make a run in the postseason. Florida may be one of them.
It's looking at the standings, it has been interesting to watch the SEC teams that have won national championships the last few years. Mississippi State, for example, has not made postseason since they went and won the whole thing back in 2021. Ole Miss followed up their national championship series last year with a bad season. LSU right now is sitting at 5-13 in the league. So I don't know what the deal is, Chuck, but for whatever reason, the SEC teams that have won the national championship the year before have not fared well. I know LSU still has.
That's recent history. That's recent history. You can go back to South Carolina and LSU and even Florida, when Florida was making runs to Omaha. Those teams were good the next year. This is the exception rather than the rule on that.
It's been odd. Well, again, we mentioned a few names already this morning. I think one of the guys that hasn't gotten enough credit for what he's been for this team this season, we've talked about Hagen Smith. Of course, we're always going to mention Dave Van Hornen as the architect of this team. But I want to talk about the freshman from Aptos, California, and Gabe Gackle, who was a huge part of Friday night's win. Here's Dave after the game on what he's been for the team this year.
Brought in Gabe Gackle, and he put out the fire. Got through that that inning with no damage. Gave us 2 2/3, struck out, 5 or 6 hitters, and just pitched great through 42 pitches. He comes into the game with a little bit of calmness to him, and I think he's probably calm because he knows how good his stuff is, and he trusts it, and he just attacks. They got to figure out how to hit a pitch that's 96, 97, and he dumps a slider in there. Got a really good changeup that lefties have a lot of trouble with. He's confident. He's good.
Here's the stat on him, Chuck. He's inherited 17 base runners this year and has only allowed 1 base runner, which is startling to me. And Dave got asked about that in the press conference, and he wasn't really that miffed or jolted by that. It just kind of what he's been accustomed to, it seems like, this season. You don't see that often from a true freshman.
Well, he's really mature out there, that's for sure. And he's not scared, and that's maybe the most important thing for a freshman. They've got 2 or 3 guys on their team, and all teams do. You've got freshmen who, they got really good stuff, but they're just still kind of afraid. And you see that a lot in college baseball, but he's not. And here's the thing, though. You were talking about Dave's reaction to all that. See, I think that's the key to the whole thing, not just with this kid, but with all of them. Every team takes on the personality of their head coach. Now, sometimes that can be very good. Sometimes it might not be so good. But in this case, Dave's the perfect baseball coach in that he's not an emotional guy. And he was a little more emotional, I'm sure, when he was younger. We all were. But, I think he's really in a good spot as a head coach. And I think his kids feed off that. And good performances, it's not that they're necessarily expected or taken for granted or anything like that. They're good players. It's a good program. It's a good team. Go do what you do. Just go do it. And that's what they're doing right now. And yeah, everything you said about Gabe Gackle's right. And in certain situations, he would be probably celebrated more than he's been. But on a really good team, he's a really good part. And there are lots of really good parts on that team. But he is one of those kids that comes in and right off the bat, he's just ready to go. And, I can recall when LSU really had it going and South Carolina really had it going. They'd bring freshmen in, pitchers, and they were great. We'd bring freshman pitchers in. They were scared to death. There was just that difference in, where you were as a program. And I don't mean that in a critical way at all. It's just the truth. And Arkansas is getting those kids right now. And, you take a kid that has ability and who's not afraid, and then you put him in a college atmosphere with all the tools that they have at their disposal to get better. That guy's got a chance to really be something special. Now, you bring a kid in who's got all kinds of great stuff and he's scared to death, well, you're going to have to get the scared out of him before you can really get into all the other stuff. And so Arkansas is getting players like that, not just Gackle, not just pitchers, but players all over the field who are they look at games as opportunities to show what they got. And I like that.
And I mentioned where he's from, Aptos, California. Arkansas's had some success getting some guys out of California. The one that always stands out to me is Dominique Fletcher. He's recent, but there's a handful of others. You really are.
Oh, James McCann was from California. Look, California kids litter SEC baseball rosters and have for a long time. Because the baseball, the high school baseball, the amateur baseball, the travel baseball, it's great out there. And then they go to college and about 12 people show up to watch them play. And it's a lot more fun in the SEC.
Yeah, there's no question about that, Chuck.
Hey, I know you got people waiting. Let me talk about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company, real quickly. These are my partners in the real estate game, and if you are buying or selling a home, I want to recommend them wholeheartedly. We all enter the housing market for different reasons. Sometimes by choice. Sometimes you're moving. Sometimes you're ready to downsize. Sometimes you need a bigger home. All those things can be different for different people. It's important when you deal with a real estate agent that they understand your situation. If you're a buyer, particularly if you're a first-time buyer, all kinds of things that you're going to need help with. There's all kinds of questions that you're going to have and you're going to need to have answered. But they need to know what you're looking for as well, too. They need to know all the parameters. Same when you become a seller. What I found with them was that the line of communication was always open. They understood the business backwards and forwards. It's a full-time gig for every one of them, not a part-time job. And ultimately, they knew how to get from contract to close. Now, they've got offices in Northwest Arkansas. They're in Washington and Benton counties. They're in Fort Smith. They're in Branson. And you can always log on to WeikerGriffin.com.
All right, so we got a question about John Calipari's whereabouts. We might as well fire up the Cal tracker. All right, so according to 24/7 Sports, you're going to have Carter Knox in Fayetteville today, one of the former Kentucky commits, one of the guys that you are thinking possibly could end up as an Arkansas Razorback. Some other news, Adu Thiero has narrowed down his list to 5 schools, Arkansas being one of them, along with North Carolina, Pittsburgh, Indiana, and then a possible return to Lexington, too. You also had this weekend, I know some people were wondering about Jeremy Roach, the outstanding point guard for Duke, what he was going to do. He has chosen Baylor as his next school. He's committed to Scott Drew and the Baylor Bears. So some names. One is decided, Chuck. One's going to be in attendance, and the other guy's got Arkansas in his top 5, according to Jeff Borzillo. But we saw Cal and Big Z at Bogle Park this weekend. It's still, I'd say, the most prevalent topic in Razorback sports is who this team's going to add to its basketball roster.
Well, and it's still going to be a little bit, although I think there will probably be some more developments this week. I would be frankly surprised if there's not, but I don't know that it's going to be a full roster by the end of the week. We can see the kind of players he's on. These aren't project guys. These are not. These are the best in the country. Therefore, they have lots of options. And I think that, in the NIL era, in the Players First era, it's not going to be a situation, even with someone like John Calipari, where everyone just automatically says, "Oh, I'm going with Cal." I'd love to go with Cal, but we got to get the deal right. It's my preference. It's my preference to be with you, but we got to get the deal right. So all that comes into play now. Whereas before, 5 years ago, hey, Cal's going to Arkansas, or Cal's going to Kentucky, or Cal's going to Memphis. Well, I'm going with him. No questions asked. Now it's a little bit different deal. But from what I understand, we're doing fine.
And Chuck, I believe he said this on stage with you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but him talking when him and Frank Broyles initially spoke the first time about potentially being Arkansas's head coach, and he said, "Well, I can't leave these players because then it was not as easy to transfer, but now it's like they might." He said, "Like they might not even be here next year." So I feel like coaches. I think there's potential. I don't know if I'm 100% of the idea that this is going to happen, but I definitely think there's potential. You could even see more coaching movement because of there's more player movement nowadays, and they feel like, well, my roster's not going to look anywhere like it is this year. Why would I stay if I think there's a better opportunity elsewhere?
Well, I think you've always had that, though. I don't. The landscape changes, but I don't think it's really all that much different in terms of that. One of the things that he did not say in so many words is, now I can leave and take my whole team with me.
That's a good point.
That's the flip side of it now. On one hand, you can say, well, now the kids can leave and go wherever they want to go. But on the other hand, I can bring them with me, too, if I think they're really good.
And I think with the exception of Bradshaw, the 7'1" guy who had a pretty good second game against the Razorbacks, I don't think any of his former players have committed elsewhere. I think they're still deciding. And I know that some people have pointed to, well, they're just waiting on their last NIL check to cash. Others have said, well, they're just mulling over the idea. I'm curious to see likes of, like I mentioned Thiero, DJ Wagner, and then some of the other commits like Knox, who's going to be what their whole rationale and reasoning. You spoke to the NIL aspect, which I think is a huge part of it, but I am surprised that we haven't seen more movement or more commits to this point.
Well, you don't know what their current NIL deals are.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you don't know my contract, I don't know your contract. People's contracts are not other people's business. And so we don't know what's in that NIL deal that each player has. Some of those deals may call for them to be right where they are for a little while longer. And you kind of touched on that, a couple of seconds ago. And I think some of that probably does come into play.
If you want to jump with us on the McLarty Daniel hotline, do so at 877-377-6963. That's where Brian in Ozark is this morning. Brian, what's going on, man?
Morning, how you doing?
Good, man.
Good. Hey, I wanted to bring up something that I've kind of been saying for years about, now that Arkansas has a quality basketball coach in Calipari. And this is for all sports at Arkansas, really. We've heard for years and years and years, people have made excuses about how Arkansas couldn't recruit against top schools because Arkansas is small and there wasn't much to do in Fayetteville and all this other stuff. My argument on that was, you bring in a quality coach like you did with Calipari, and the kids will come to Fayetteville because, these kids, they're not coming to play for Arkansas. They're coming to play for Calipari. If Calipari was at UAPB or UCA, they would go there as well. They're going to get the experience for the next level. They could care less about playing for the University of Arkansas, And it would be the same way in football. You brought somebody like, if you brought in a coach like Kirby Smart, you would get the best of the best instead of what you've had the last 35 years of these kids that can't win the SEC.
Well, now, Brian, hang on just a second. I mean, we all know you don't like Arkansas. And, we all know that you don't care for the Razorbacks, and you're looking for bones to pick, and I get all that. But you're right in the sense that if you have a Hall of Fame coach like this, players want to come play for him. But I think you're ignoring very conveniently some things that are different about football and basketball and baseball. You know this. You're not an uneducated fan. You're just looking to get on people
trying
a little bit.
Bristle in.
Hey, he's trying to stir stuff up. I know what he's doing. I hear his other calls. I'm not going to, shout him down the way some of those other guys do, but I am going to say that I read your ulterior motive, Brian. You're as Carmelo says to Eli, you think you're slick. You're not slick.
All right, still a lot to get to in hour number 2 of the Morning Rush. Chuck Barrett alongside. Tell him he's out golfing. He's golfing the next 3 days. He's leaving the work and all the other stuff to us. But we will continue on here. If you want to call or text us like Brian just did on the McLarty Daniel hotline, once again, our number is 877-377-6963. It's Hot Take Monday, brought to you by Wheels RV. Rolling along next hour.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Hello there, homeowner. Roger Scott for Leaf Guard Gutters of Arkansas. Are you tired of dealing with clogged gutters, climbing ladders, and worrying about potential damage to your home? Well, listen up to me now. Leaf Guard of Arkansas has got you covered. Introducing Leaf Guard, the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system on the market, guaranteed to never, ever clog. With Leaf Guard, you can kiss goodbye to all the hassle of climbing up and cleaning out all that muck and mud and shingle grit. No more hiring someone else to do it, or worse yet, risking serious damage and issues by doing nothing at all. Spring is finally here, which means it's time for Leaf Guard's famous Ugly Gutter event. Leaf Guard will swoop in, take down, and haul away all those unsightly gutters at absolutely no charge, and you'll receive an incredible 60% off installation on a whole house Leaf Guard gutter system. But wait, there's more. Ask about
about the 0% financing options and additional discounts for seniors and military personnel. Do not let ugly gutters ruin your home's curb appeal or cause costly damage. Call 501-664-5400 or visit LeafGardenMore.com to schedule your free estimate today. Leaf Guard of Arkansas, protecting your home one seamless gutter at a time.
Home is everything. It's your sanctuary, your command center, your music room, and your art studio. It's where you eat family dinners and make lasting memories. When you use a Weichert agent to help you find your home, we'll help you find the space to make it yours. When you begin your search, know that a Weichert agent will be there with you every step of the way. Because at Weichert Realtors, we guide you home. To get started, call your local Weichert agent and look for our bright yellow signs all over town. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Ty, that's $1 million question.
This is the Morning Rush.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else. My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's. Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. Tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Diamond Center is proud to present our inaugural Whiskey and Watches event. Now is your chance to get your hands on that timeless timepiece you've been dreaming of. Between now and Thursday, April 25th, in our Fort Smith store, call or stop by to pre-order your watch. Then join us on Thursday, April 25th for a night of celebration featuring rare whiskeys, cigars, and luxury watches. This is your opportunity to add that watch that you've always had an eye on to your collection. For more information or to pre-order your watch today, give us a call. The Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
It's spring cleaning sale time at Jelco Outdoors. Savings from 50 to 75% off on select clothing, footwear, hunting and fishing equipment, casual clothing, hunting clothing, work clothing for men, women, and children, work boots, safety shoes, western boots, all 50 to 75% off. Rods, reels, baits, hunting equipment, all 50 to 75% off. Select group of handguns, rifles, and shotguns in the firearms department at cost or below. Don't miss the big spring cleaning sale at Jelco Outdoors in Fort Smith.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, after a cold start, we will rebound under sunny skies into the upper 60s to near 70. Not quite as chilly tonight, overnight lows in the mid to upper 40s, and we may see a stray shower, especially across the north on Tuesday, otherwise sunny, breezy, upper 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard. Your leader in fine wine, beer, and spirits. Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your morning.
ESPN 95.3. This hour of the Morning Rush is brought to you by Farm Credit. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com.
Wood sets and deals 0-2. He struck him out looking, and this one belongs to the Razorbacks. A fastball at the knees. A run in the ninth inning for South Carolina. One hit, one error, and one left, but the Hogs win it 9-6, and they get a road series win in Columbia, taking 2 out of 3 with a split doubleheader. Well done.
Do you have apples and Snickers between games?
You want me to bring you some or what? Everybody got a smoothie if they wanted one. 3 different kinds: bananas, Snickers, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that's about it.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studio. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Kristen Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bensenville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
So I don't think any of you had issues watching or listening to Arkansas baseball this week, and games didn't go late. I got a double header in on Saturday, where a good chunk of you managed to get a lot of those games in, but maybe you missed some of the things that happened last night, including Isaiah Joe and Jalen Williams and the Oklahoma City Thunder getting a tight win over the New Orleans Pelicans. Isaiah and Jalen both played last night. Not a lot of other Razorbacks played. We'll tell you about some of those coming up as we continue on here on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. Best selection of RVs, just got even better at Wheels with the addition of the Brinkley RV. The Model Z is the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels, and it always comes with a lifetime warranty so you can camp with confidence. Stop in and see why Wheels RV was voted and has been voted the best RV dealer year after year, 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Isaiah Joe with the big 3 last night.
For Oklahoma City. Joe, corner. And he got it.
Chuck, last night Isaiah finished with, 15 minutes, 2 rebounds, an assist, and a three-pointer. Jalen Williams had 7 minutes. He hit 2 three-pointers last night and also had 2 rebounds and 2 assists. They're not the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or Chet Holmgren, but they're as big a part of that basketball team, their coach would tell you, as anyone on that roster.
Well, if you watched them play, which I have quite a bit, they're the deepest team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they go deeper than anybody else. And, Jalen came in, and I thought, you play 7 minutes, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. That's an active player. Isaiah Joe, he's not shying away from the basketball. He's not looking to pass it as soon as he gets it. I mean, the thing that's made Oklahoma City good this year is the fact that they are able to go so deep. Now, to me, the former Razorback that really showed his mettle yesterday was Bobby Portis.
Yes, sir.
Giannis is out with the Bucks. Portis starts. He's a double-double. He gets 15 and 11. Beverly was as good as he always is. He played defense, and I know down the stretch. He hit a corner 3 there to kind of, put the icing on it at the end. But those guys are all big parts of their teams. And, I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of people, maybe more than we realize, from our part of the state who are driving over to watch Oklahoma City play. I saw pictures on social media last night of people I know that were there. And Oklahoma City, the Thunder, if you're in that state, or particularly if you know people in close proximity to Oklahoma City, that's part of the reason nobody pays attention to Oklahoma Sooner basketball anymore, because the Sooners occupy their football interest and the Thunder take their basketball interest. That is a basketball crazy area. They're crazy about that team. If you watched it last night, you know. And now here's the thing. The 1 seed beat the 8 seed at home, but it was a 2-point ball game.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma City does not have a lot of meat inside. And New Orleans stayed in the game last night with second chance points. Oklahoma City's got some issues there. They were a great regular season team. There's a difference in being a great regular season team and a great playoff team. But they won the game, and that's all that matters. Home teams won 8-0 in the first round.
And the NHL home teams also went 6-0, so a combined 14-0 for both the NHL and NBA teams, which I thought was interesting. I also want to mention, Chuck, we didn't get a chance to see Ricky Council didn't play due to a coach's decision against the Knicks, but the New York Knicks get a Game 1 win this weekend in MSG.
You know, Ricky's probably not going to get a lot of time in the playoffs unless, you know, it's a mop-up role. You know, it's a blowout one way or the other. But, you know, he's there. He's got a contract, and he's part of the team. He's going to get a playoff share.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got more money coming down the pike to him. So, you know, Ricky's had a good year. Ricky's made the most of every opportunity. You know, the Knicks were one of those teams that won on their home floor.
Yep. Daniel Gafford got 3 points and a block in their loss to the Clippers. Didn't see Jordan Walsh for the Celtics and didn't see Anthony Black for the Magic. So there will be some guys, like you just said, to Ricky Council that are on rosters and get shares, but won't necessarily play.
The Magic, you know, and again, Barkley talked about this yesterday, and he's just so right. You can pick your sport, but, man, there's a difference in the regular season and the playoffs. There's just a difference. You can be a great regular season team, not be a great playoff team. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. Dallas was not very good in their first game.
Nope. We'll see if they bounce back in game number 2. All right, let's talk to Brent in Searcy, who's been patiently waiting here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Hey, Brent.
All right, Todd, Chuck. You're talking to a man that loves the Razorbacks right here, not like your last caller, not always for the bad.
I was just Brian's a regular, and I appreciate Brian.
Okay. Well, different strokes for different folks. But let's talk about, you know, that commercial y'all ran for Pascal Heating and Air with Hagen Smith. That is the perfect commercial for him because he was as cool Friday night as the other side of the pillow when things got hairy for him, and he just got out of it. Let's talk about our baseball team, about what intestinal fortitude that took Saturday to come back and win the second game when Molina didn't have his best stuff the first game, and they had to play 2 games. I was just so proud of that whole team Saturday in Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah, South Carolina helped them in that second game, or the second game of the doubleheader. But to me, the biggest thing was, you know, Tiger didn't get behind hitters. That was the biggest thing in the whole thing to me. Now South Carolina kind of imploded, and I think they were ready for a long day to be over by the end of it. But to me, Tiger was the key Saturday.
Yeah, here's what Dave Van Horn had to say about Tiger's performance.
Well, he was throwing 3 pitches for a strike, you know, threw his fastball off for a strike, breaking ball, slider, his regular curveball, threw changeup. I mean, he just pitched and he got ahead, got to kind of throw what he wanted to throw and kept him off balance, and that's the main reason he got to stay out there so long.
You mentioned Brady not getting behind again. Staying ahead of the count was big for him in that game number 3. All right, still a lot to discuss here on a Hot Take Monday. I do want to talk some NFL draft and how I don't think outside of Daniels there's a single quarterback that I would take a chance on. I just think it's a bad quarterback draft this year. We'll do that coming up. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at The Hangout. Do you want to go to a place that you actually like working out? Well, The Hangout in Fort Smith has over 8,000 square feet of tennis, pickleball, basketball, and more. You can stop in today at 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com. That's thehangoutfs.com for more information. Be a part of something different, something better. Fort Smith is needed. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out. And let's talk about our Morning Rush Daily Question when we return next.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by
Hey,
Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LindberghTeam.com. Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. For all your real estate needs, go to LindberghTeam.com. Maverick Male Medical, your wellness and aesthetic center for men in Northwest Arkansas. Look better, live better, love better. Visit MaverickMaleMedical.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the Morning Rush.
Arkansas, 80 yards.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep West Ark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
West Ark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Diamond Center is proud to present our inaugural Whiskey and Watches event. Now is your chance to get your hands on that timeless timepiece you've been dreaming of. Between now and Thursday, April 25th, in our Fort Smith store, call or stop by to pre-order your watch. Then join us on Thursday, April 25th for a night of celebration featuring rare whiskeys, cigars, and luxury watches. This is your opportunity to add that watch that you've always had an eye on to your collection. For more information or to pre-order your watch today, give us a call. The Diamond Center, celebrating a legacy of love.
It's 2024. Let's go see what's new at the Golf Nut. Peen G430 Max 10K driver. Peen's straightest and most forgiving driver. TaylorMade QI 10 Max woods and irons with 10K inertia, making it the most forgiving driver ever. And Cleveland Launcher XL2 woods and irons. Call Matt Brooks for a lesson, 646-4430. And start a new year with more confidence on the course. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess. I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
So we're just talking a little bit of baseball throughout the show. We'll come back to Arkansas against South Carolina, what they were able to do this week and get in 2 of 3. Some other Pro Hogs that have success. Chuck, did you say that Drew Smiley's going to start tonight for the Cubs? Did I hear that right earlier?
No. We were talking baseball, and I mentioned that Smiley is pitching a lot for the Cubs right now. He's working primarily in middle relief.
I gotcha. All right, so our Morning Rush Daily question is your favorite baseball movie, because 30 years ago today, Field of Dreams came out with Kevin Costner. 35, excuse me.
Yeah, that's all right.
With Kevin Costner. And I like that movie. There's a lot of great baseball movies out there, The Sandlot, Major League. But I will say that Phil Elson has gotten me around on the idea that Bull Durham is the best baseball movie of all time, Chuck. Now, I think that Tin Cup is maybe my favorite Kevin Costner movie of all time, but my favorite baseball movie of all time has to go to Bull Durham. And I hadn't seen it till I started doing the show with Phil, but that is now my favorite baseball movie of all time.
It's a good movie. It's a great baseball movie. It's not my favorite of all time, but I enjoy watching it. I guess I'd put it into 2 categories: serious and funny. Serious for me, Field of Dreams. Funny and best overall is The Sandlot. The Sandlot captures through the eyes of children the essence of the game. And the Field of Dreams movie, to me, through the eyes of an adult, captured the essence of the game. Now, I know that, if you're into some of the other stuff, and look, I like it too, that is a very good movie. Right after that, 2 or 3 years after that movie came out, Field of Dreams, of all places, I found myself in Dyersburg, Iowa, and went out there. Now, this is before they commercialized it. It was literally exactly as it appeared in the movie. And the admission was a donation jar, a donation can that hung by a nail on a board, and you drop money in, whatever you felt led to drop, kind of like going to church. And I've thought about, in that movie, where he says, if you build it, they will come. And, they could have charged however much they wanted to that day. People would have paid it, but they probably ended up making more. People dropped something in when they went by, and then they stayed there an hour, and they emptied their pockets when they left. And that's kind of how it was for me. But there were no grandstands. It was exactly as it appeared in the movie. And never forget that. But The Sandlot is, you're killing me, Smalls. I mean, it just, for me, that's the best one overall.
Annie Mountain Home says Bull Durham. Michael in Cave Springs says For the Love of the Game is another great
a good one.
Kevin Costner film. Billy from Claremore likes The Rookie. And then Josh says Moneyballs, and plenty of other texts that we'll get into. That is, I will say, Chuck,
Moneyball ruined the game. It ruined the game. It was a great movie. But it ruined the game.
It ruined the game, yeah. I did enjoy watching Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. I thought they did a good job portraying the characters in that film. But again, 35 years ago today, Field of Dreams came out, and there's plenty of really good baseball movies since then. That is your Morning Rush Daily Question, brought to you by our friends at Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Professional people, professional service. Schedule your service appointment today at gopascal.com.
One thing we failed to mention when talking about Bobby Portis and the Milwaukee Bucks, Chuck, is that he's a finalist for the 6th Man of the Year, along with Malik Monk, who we all know, Northwest Arkansas. I was actually talking with his brother Marcus yesterday, and then former LSU Tiger Naz Reid. So I don't think that we fully understand how good of a season Bobby Portis is having. And you mentioned the emergence of him, particularly in Giannis Antetokounmpo's absence due to injury. But Bobby's just had a whale of a season, man.
Well, he's developed into a very good professional basketball player. He's been a great 6th man for 2 or 3 years now. Those who have followed Bobby's life, his career, talk about, the gangly 8th grader, with big bug eyes, that looked anything like a future NBA star.
Crazy eyes.
And I can tell you now, watching him, his game's improved tenfold since he was at Arkansas. And you look at every level that Bobby's progressed to along the way, there's been vast improvement at every one of them. There were questions when he got to every level of could he stick? I know as good as Portis had become as a high schooler, there were still some questions. Can this gangly kid really be a big-time Division I basketball player? Well, he became one. And then he goes to the NBA, and he's skinny as a rail. And you look at him, and you go, I don't know, man. I mean, he's going to get pushed around. Here we are 6-7 years later, and, he's putting up double-doubles in playoff games. So, really, Bobby is the work that he's put in. And, I'll tell you, I watched the Thunder last night, and Jalen Williams has spent some time in the weight room now. Yep. He looks like a player, and part of it is just these guys filling out. And for that matter, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, is that how you pronounce it?
Gilgeous-Alexander.
He's a great player. Kentucky, very heralded, but he was not. He wasn't the college basketball player of the year. Everybody develops at a different level, and that's one thing. And I know it kind of frustrated Kentucky fans, to be real honest about it. And we're gonna have to adjust maybe the way we think about things. Some of these guys he's had, and SGA is a prime example, they don't play their best basketball when they're at Kentucky or at Arkansas or wherever they are. Portis didn't play his best basketball at Arkansas. You just enjoy him while you got him.
Yeah, and you take it every chance you can get. And speaking of John Calipari, we had attendance in Bogle Park this weekend. I don't know if you caught the video, and actually it was a star-studded weekend. Arkansas.
Saw Big Z was there.
He did, yeah, and he ended up doing his first hog call, which I thought was pretty cool.
Welcome the newest member of the Razorback men's basketball team to Fayetteville. Yeah. Let's please welcome 7'2" former pro Croatian, Vladimir Ibisevic. Now let's join Big Z and show him how we call those calls.
I thought it was a solid first-time hog call, Chuck. I thought he did an admirable job in front of all of those fans. They had nearly 4,000 fans on Saturday night, which was pretty special for Courtney Dival. They didn't play great Saturday, but ended up getting the series victory. First time ever, back-to-back series victories against Alabama in the history since Arkansas joined the conference.
Yep. We're talking about Big Z or softball?
Softball. Sorry, but back to Big Z. Thought he did a good job first time out in his first hog call in front of all those people.
Oh, I thought he seems to me to be a kid that just really enjoys himself. Everything that I've seen so far, he's a kid having fun. And you need kids like that, whether they're good or not. It certainly helps that he's 7'2" and is going to play in the NBA. But you need personalities like that. The game needs to be fun. And if you look at the guys that really make their mark on the game, they've got, they're characters. sometimes, and they've got personality to them, and it endears them to fans, and it ensures longevity sometimes, and he just seems to be that kind of guy to me.
And it's not always easy as a bigger guy to be like that. I mean, some guys are just tall, clumsy, and awkward, not just in the walking, but just in terms of being in the public eye. Shaquille O'Neal was the opposite of that. I don't know if anyone will be able to touch his persona, but it does seem like that Big Z has some Shaq-like qualities in just terms of his personality.
He does, and I think he's comfortable in his own skin, which is exactly what you hope for someone who's 19 or 20 years old. Sometimes it's not all that common if you want to get right down to it. But, I am really anxious to watch him play. I watched him a good bit at Kentucky because I am it's a broader subject, and we don't have time to get into it today. But the European players are so much, particularly their big men, are so much more fundamentally sound than the players that are coming through our setup in America. I think it's a real hard reality for us right now. These big men have ball skills, and Big Z's one of them. There's nothing clumsy about him. He can dribble, pass, and shoot, and all these big guys that come from Europe can do that. And I was reading an article about this, and I'm not going to stray off into it too much, but it did point out that there are some stark differences right now in the way we play the game with our youth in the United States, as opposed to the way they play the game abroad. And fundamentally, we're not quite what we once were.
Yeah, it's practice first games. You've got all these AAU teams that are just playing games, and they're practicing a lot of times. You think about Nikola Jokic, who's really taken over the NBA the last few years, and you look at him and it's like, how can he dominate the way he does? And then you watch him play. The fundamental aspect that you were talking about, he is as fluid as...
They can pass.
Yeah.
They can dribble, pass, and shoot. Mm-hmm. They can do it all.
Yeah.
And now there are lots of things that come with being a 7-footer that guys who 6'1" can't do. But if you can dribble, pass, and shoot like a 6'1" guy and you're 7 feet tall, you're going to run the game.
And you're hoping that Arkansas can get some guys like that. There's not a ton of them across college basketball, but looking at who Arkansas potentially could get, the popular name with Arkansas fans I'm seeing now is Jonell Davis. He's the former Florida Atlantic point guard that has entered his name in the transfer portal. They have that big 7'1" guy that I think is going to end up following Dusty May to Michigan. But it is funny, Chuck.
One of them went to Florida, I think, didn't he? One of them's going to be a Gator. I thought I saw.
Okay.
I don't keep up with that as much as some.
Yeah, I just any time that a pop in, I mentioned earlier in the show, Jeremy Roach, the Duke point guard, has committed to the Baylor Bears. Carter Knox is expected to take a visit to Fayetteville today. But anytime I see a great college basketball player, Chuck, it sure seems like Arkansas fans assume that he would consider Fayetteville as his next destination just because.
Well, based on what we read, a good many of them are. It doesn't mean you're going to get them all, but it certainly means, based on what I read, and I'm kind of like everybody else, I just read what pops up, and sounds like Arkansas's on a lot of people's lists.
And I wanted to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I wanted to. There's so many conflicting reports out there when it comes to NIL, what players are getting, what they actually have. I wonder. I don't know if we'll ever get a solid answer, but I wonder how much Arkansas has now stockpiled after a week or so has gone by, or I guess 2 weeks now has gone by, and this whole idea that there may be the highest NIL fund in all of college basketball. I just don't know if that's true, but based on reports out there, when a player of high value enters the portal, and considering Arkansas, it sure seems like that there might be some truth to that, or at least some truth maybe in phrases and reports out there. We don't know, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I think we know. I mean, I think we do know. It goes back to what we talked about last week. This is, at some point, you have to use a little simple arithmetic. I mean, are these 5 stars considering Arkansas without NIL money? Well, of course not. If it was, there's always going to be NIL money on this. So yes, there's money there. Now, I think sometimes people have this idea that, Well, we're just going to go get it out of the NIL account. Some of this, I'm sure, just to put it in everyday terms, is pay as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's going to take us this to get him. I got to go round up this money. Now, you may have an assurance that I'll have it for you, but I don't think it's a question of, all right, we've collected X million dollars and it goes in the account and you can go rate it whenever you want. I suspect that there are going to be situations that come up, not just here, but lots of places, and happens all with all sorts of big-time programs. Is, you know, we've generally tried to keep our NIL expenditures within this, but as the market changes, it's going to take a little bit more, and we got a chance to get this guy, and it's going to take this amount. You know, if you've got private assurances that the money will be there, you know, that's where the money comes from. But the idea, as you were talking about, you know, how much is in the pot now, I don't think it's a situation like that. Hey, don't pay for a summer or a spring, I should say, AC tune-up. You know, this past weekend's really been a prime example of what an Arkansas spring's like. I mean, Friday it's like 80, where we're running the AC. By Monday morning it's in the 30s when we have the heater on. Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Don't pay for somebody else to come out and make sure your AC is going to be okay. If you're a Pascal member, as I call it, part of their plant protection program, all that's included. And the best thing about this program is it gives you peace of mind all year long, regardless of the season, whether it's your AC, whether it's your heater. They do the preventative maintenance. They do the checkups. They do the tune-ups. So the big problems don't occur. And, you know, you think about it right now, because there are days even where you run them both. Certainly it seems like there's a pretty good chance you'll run them both in the same week. Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Professional people, professional service. You can inquire. You can schedule your appointment at gopascal.com.
And Brent was talking about Hagen Smith and his Pascal commercial. Or Hagen gets another victory. Him and Gabe Gackle and Stone Hewitt combined for a Game 1 victory this weekend. Big part of that. And also just Dave Van Horn talking about his timely hitting that we saw in Game 3. Here's what he said about their Game 3 performance.
A huge game for both teams, really. They were trying to get over 500 in the league. We're trying to win a series on the road. And after losing the first game the way we did, it kind of got away from us early, maybe fifth, sixth inning. And for us to come back and win Game 2, that was really big for us.
Yeah, I think for Dave Van Horn's squad to play the way they did in the first game on Saturday and to bounce back in Game 3, it really started, Chuck, with Brady Tigert, who has been up and down at points this year. I know what his stats say and his ERA says, but he hasn't been as consistent as you thought he maybe be as the last year in College Forest Draft, but he was every bit as consistent on Saturday as we've seen him all year.
Well, I think the first thing you've got to realize is that, you know, what happened in the first game, sometimes when a game's over and our team doesn't win, we say we lost. Well, sometimes the other team wins, you know, and that's kind of what happened, I thought, in the first game. South Carolina's a good team. They were playing at home. They won that game. As I said a little bit earlier, in the final game of the series, the whole thing with me, now South Carolina helped Arkansas. I mean, they helped them, but Tiger threw strikes. And he didn't get into hitters counts. And he had a little bit more command of that whatever they call it. I call it a breaking pitch,
Yeah.
a slider. They try to make themselves sound smart and call it 4 or 5 different things now. But he had a really good breaking ball going. And he stayed ahead.
It always cracks me up when Phil and Bubba are trying to guess pitches during the middle of a game, and there's, like you said, there's several different ones that are named for a certain pitch that people are kind of all over the place on that. But him and
well, a cutter's a lot different in terms of when I started calling a game, what Mariano Rivera threw was a cutter. What they call a cutter now has a whole lot more break to it, and not as much late break as what Mariano Rivera's pitch did. What a lot of people call a cutter now is what I was raised to call a slider. And a cutter had late break on it. Now, anything that breaks, they call a cutter. So, I mean, I'd be lost, man. I'd be lost with all that terminology now. A lot of times, Seriously, it's just guys trying to make themselves sound smarter than they are.
Real quick, one of the other things that happened this weekend is South Carolina coach Mark Kingston got tossed, and I thought the play was pretty contrived. Let's go back to game one and what happened late in that one.
1-1 on Holt. Might have hit him. Payton says it hit my jersey. Makes a motion to Mark Winters, hit my jersey, and now he agrees, and here comes Mark Kingston out of the dugout. Kingston's jogging towards Winters, and he's coming out with purpose. He is getting in Winters' face. He's asking, why don't you ask for any help? You can see from here, Mark Winters has just ejected Mark Kingston from the game. And Kingston came out with one thing in mind, and that was to get thrown out. He doesn't have a leg to stand on here. You could hear it. You could hear the pitch hitting Holt's jersey. I don't know what he thinks happened.
And Phil kind of almost told the answer. Was he just trying to get tossed, in your opinion, Chuck? Maybe that was...
No, here's what happened. If you watch the whole thing, on Friday night, they were not happy with the balls and strikes call.
Mm-hmm.
He should have got tossed in the first game. He was not. And neither side, I don't think, frankly, was real happy with some of the balls and strikes. What he was mad about there, though, was the protocol. If you watch the replay, and I'll give him this, it was an obvious call, but the home plate umpire was not demonstrative when he made the call. He was late making the call. It almost looked like Peyton Holt made the call for him, and he didn't ask for help. And that's what their head coach was mad at. He wasn't – I think he knew it hit him. I think he was mad because the home plate umpire didn't initially realize it. And then when he did, he just said hit by pitch without asking for any help. That was my take. Now, yeah, he obviously hit it. But I think that some of it went back to Friday night, too. They went home angry after the first game and mad at the umpires after the game on Friday night. And I thought that had something to do with it, too.
So now you get the Florida Gators, and I guess you have the midweek game in North Little Rock tomorrow night. Jack Caglione, who we talked about earlier, had 9 straight games with the home run. That streak was ended this weekend in Nashville, Tennessee. Still tied the all-time record in college baseball. That was set back in 2021. But you welcome in the Gators and him this weekend, Chuck.
Well, here's the thing, and I don't know how else to say it but to say it. We get too caught up in home runs and strikeouts. It's about winning the game. Caglione hit home runs in 9 straight games. How many of those games has Florida won?
They're 8 and 10.
I'm going to guess less than 5.
Less than 5.
They've been in the midst of a long losing streak. They've been either getting swept or winning 1 in most of their conference series. It's a team game. Look. Hagen Smith striking out a lot of guys. They're winning because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of those guys he's passing on that list, they didn't play on great teams. So they don't always go hand in hand.
Well, you're right. And especially with home run and strikeouts being more prevalent, they are paid attention more than ever before, and perhaps too much when they actually should be. All right, we got our hog update coming up in just a bit. Your calls and texts as well on the McLarty Daniel hotline. We've talked about Gaston's for a number of years now. You can always check out online at gastons.com for Clint, Jacob, and their team. Call them at 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202 for great fishing, for great nature, for great food at their restaurant. It's always a great time at Gaston's. Again, online at gastons.com, 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time, every time.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG, bring your own guts. The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Roll into the season at WT equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here for the Fitzman. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fitzman can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fitzman can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and control access for your business. Call the Fitzman and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fitzman. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Somebody get him a plane ticket for New York City.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Planned Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
If you knew all the Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else. My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's. Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Dial Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Wes, how many people can a large pizza feed?
About 4.
So I should tell Cousin Jeff 1.
Oh, wow. He's a big eater.
The biggest. He once got kicked out of an all-you-can-eat diner because they ran out of food. How many can a small pizza feed?
I'd say 2.
Our small pizza at $15 is a meal for 2? We should advertise this. That goat'll hunt.
Dog.
What you call me?
That dog will hunt.
Wes, dogs are man's best friend. Goats are the true hunters.
Goats?
Billy Goat Jr.'s Grammy was trained to chase squirrels, cats, birds, and rabbits. We could hear her for miles through the brush. And she'd circle them right to us.
You're not serious.
As serious as a meal for 2 for $15.
You're an interesting cat.
What you call me?
A meal for 2 for $15. Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
The paint store in Van Buren is still the place to go to when doing the job right really matters. Our unique line of Richards paint products was chosen by me to perform for you. This is Sue, and my 35 years of experience ensures you get the right paint and the right color. That's important to you and me. Thank you for your support. Come see what I'm talking about. 1414 Fayetteville Road, the paint store, Van Buren.
your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hogcats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
Arkansas is number one right now in the SEC West in baseball following a series win over the South Carolina Gamecocks this weekend, partially due to Gabe Gackle's efforts on Friday night.
Gackle can end the inning here, looking to strand two. Pitch. He struck him out swinging on a high slider. Gabe Gackle leaves two base runners.
And this is a freshman from Aptos, California, who has been really, really good for Arkansas this year. Here's what he said following the game, just where his confidence level is right now.
Yeah, the more experience you get, the more confident you are. And I just think about it as a normal outing and just got to go up there and attack the hitters.
You know, we were talking about him a little bit earlier, Chuck, and I hadn't thought about it this way until you kind of said it. You kind of just expect it nowadays, even if it's a true freshman. The standard has been set for Arkansas baseball, and he's just kind of fallen in that mold of sorts.
Well, you know, expected is a strong word. Now, I don't know that maybe that's the best use of the word, but I do know that, and you know, we talked about this when they were sweeping all these series. Is I don't know that we have an appreciation for how difficult it is to do what they've been doing. And when you talk about freshmen coming in, you know, over the course of the history of our program, it has been the exception rather than the rule to have a freshman come in and really, you know, pitch well. But that rule is changing, and it's changed over the last 5 years or so. And he's one of those guys. So much of it's makeup. Look, you look at the guys Arkansas is signing, and you look at the pitchers that the premier programs in our country, many of which are in our league, you look at the pitchers that they are signing, they all have elite stuff. They all get up near 100. They can make that thing dance. You can hear it. You know, when you're sitting behind the plate, nobody else is in the ballpark. You can hear the ball whistle when they, when they come home. But it's where they are from the neck up at that age that really determines whether or not they can help you.
So Arkansas had success in Columbia, South Carolina. The softball team had success in Bogle Park this weekend. Saturday night didn't go according to plan, but they ended up winning 8-0 on Sunday. Dave Van Horn, John Calipari, and Big Z in attendance over the weekend. A lot of people got a chance to watch Arkansas beat Alabama. Courtney Deifel really proud of her team after the game. After the series, here's what she said following the series win against the Alabama Crimson Tide.
It was huge. It was an emotional game last night. It was a frustrating game and a late game. So you went to turn all of that in. It's like I walked in when she was talking about just not getting a lot of sleep. I know I didn't sleep much last night with the quick turnaround and just the feel of the game last night. And so for them to show up ready to go, ready to make a statement, ready to respond, was huge. It was so fun. We should do it all the time.
Do it every time again. First time, Chuck, in program history that they've beaten Alabama back-to-back times in a series, and got it done in Bogle Park this weekend.
Yeah, it was a nice win in the finale, and it's tough sometimes when it's a quick turnaround. I think sometimes it's tougher on the road team in that situation than the home team, because not only do you have a quick turnaround to get to the ballpark, you got to pack up, and generally when you leave for the ballpark the next morning, you're not coming back to the hotel. So, I mean, you've had to go back and pack up after the game or get up earlier and do it before the game. So I think that does help the home team. I've always thought that. You know, you talk about, I mean, we focus on how tough the baseball is and the football and the basketball. I mean, they beat Alabama, 15th ranked team in the country. What's Arkansas? 14, I think, right now. And your reward is you get to go to 7th ranked LSU next week.
Yeah.
And so, the beat goes on.
No, it is pretty brutal in SEC softball, like you're saying. All right, other news in your Hog update this morning. Do want to mention some Razorbacks that are making waves in the NBA. Bobby Portis had a fantastic game, 7 of 15, 15 points, 11 rebounds, and assists for the Bucks. Patrick Beverley filled up the stat sheet with 5.7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals. And then a lot of you may have been sleeping or may have missed the finale, but Jalen Williams filled up the stat sheet too. He goes 2 of 4 from 3, 2 rebounds and 2 assists. And then Isaiah Joe in 15 minutes had 2 rebounds, an assist, and 1 3-pointer. Loud City was needed last night to get that 2-point victory, Chuck.
You know, that place was nuts. I watched it on television. I made it until about the end of the third quarter, and that was as far as I could go. But I know people here in Fayetteville that went to the game, and you know, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're very popular, particularly in you know, near and you know, right around Oklahoma City. I mean, they're huge, and you probably see more Oklahoma City Thunder T-shirts than you do Oklahoma Sooner basketball T-shirts, to be honest. But that team's really fun to watch. I hope they're physical enough to make it through the playoffs. They're the 1 seed. And it's I don't think anybody had them as a 1 seed out of the West when the season started. I mean, they've got a lot of really good young players, and I mean a lot. They go 10 or 11 deep, and I mean meaningful 10 or 11. You know, Jalen had 6 points in 7 minutes, but I mean it's not like it was 7 minutes in the second half when you know you're 5 of them in the fourth quarter. I mean he's coming in meaningful minutes, and so's Isaiah. They really utilize their bench, and they're fun to watch. They get up and down the floor, and SGA's playing as well as anybody can play right now. I hope Holmgren can keep the other team's bigs off the boards. They struggled to do that last night. They only won by 2, but our guys are doing well.
Zion's got a little more beef than Chet does down low. It is a little bit.
Yeah, well, Zion didn't even play.
Did he not play?
It wasn't Zion last night. It was that big guy with a beard. I can't think of his name.
Is it Valanciunas?
No, he was. Yeah, he's a space eater in there, and he got a lot of offensive boards. That's what kept New Orleans in it. Oklahoma City's far superior athletically, I think. Far superior in terms of skill, but second chance points kept New Orleans in it.
When we've talked about Cal players, and not just Arkansas players, they're part, but you think about SGA, who you mentioned, Cason Wallace is another Kentucky guy, Devin Booker. I mean, there are just numerous, Karl Anthony Towns, numerous former Cal players. AD. AD that are having an impact in the end. By the way, Lakers, they need to move on from LeBron. I know that we don't have a lot of time to get there, but they need to move on from LeBron James. It has not been as successful as I think many of their fans, organization, thought it would be teaming up with LeBron James. All right, that is going to do it for your Hog Update this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, we got hour number 3 coming up in just a bit. Your calls and text on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. One of my hot takes I want to discuss as we get into this next hour is I think Jaden Daniels is the only quarterback worth drafting high in this upcoming NFL. I'm not a believer of May. I'm not a believer of Caleb Williams. I think that if you're going to be an NFL team that's evaluating a quarterback, Jaden Daniels is the only one that you need to look at, and then just, again, toss everyone else aside. It's not worth it in the long run. Hey, Hot Take Monday is always brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV. The Brinkley RV is the one you need to check out. The new Model Z is the latest innovation of luxury fifth wheels, and it always comes with a lifetime warranty to help you camp with confidence. See why Wheels RV is voted the best RV dealer year after year, 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV. Hour 3 is next on the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama. You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. You need the Lindbergh team, home of Arkansas's only instant offer program. Get a cash offer on your home in only 72 hours. Lindbergh Real Estate Group is the #1 team in Arkansas with over $1 billion sold and voted best of the best 10 years in a row, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and now the River Valley. Find out more at lindberghteam.com. LIMBIRD.
APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group has immediate openings in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, electrician, diesel mechanic, have paving or concrete labor experience, or experience in a quarry, apply today at jobs.crh.com. APAC offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits including insurance, retirement, and profit sharing. Apply online today at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola and Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Testosterone levels naturally drop in men with age, often causing a lack of energy, anxiety, weight gain, diminished libido, and performance issues. Don't suffer in silence. Call Maverick Male Medical in Fayetteville today for more about testosterone or weight loss therapy. They focus on your excellent care, optimal health, and performance. Call Maverick Male Medical today at 305-8206. That's 305-8206. Or go to maverickmalemedical.com.
This is the Morning Rush.
We're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Hey, Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Elizabeth.
And this is the reigning champion of my own conference, Robert.
You do realize that's not a thing.
Well, I did receive a plaque commemorating that accomplishment.
Yeah, and I was elected the president of Mars. Anyway, Hog fans, it's that time again.
It's baseball season. And Hog fans, the Stadium Shop has everything you need for Razorback baseball.
From t-shirts, sweatshirts, man cave stuff, and even a Razorback original, the Bases Loaded beer hats.
Plus, ladies, as well as a restocked women's section. We have the Bases Loaded beer stein boppers.
Yeah, it's kind of like those old-time space alien antennas, you know?
Yeah, well, not really.
So when you're in Fayetteville, stop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road, next door to Baum Walker Stadium, or you can shop us on them WW Interweb, FaceGram, you get it, Matthew.
Dad, do you mean the website?
Yeah.
Which is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com.
Or call us at 479 Stadium. That's 479-782-3486.
As always,
Go Hogs!
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where it's spring cleaning time. The lot is blooming with fresh road-ready certified inventory and weekly specials that could save you up to $4,000. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in the Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Better yet, trade today and save up to $4,000 during spring cleaning at Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, where all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen, or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time
every time. ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, after a cold start, we will rebound under sunny skies into the upper 60s to near 70. Not quite as chilly tonight, overnight lows in the mid to upper 40s. And we may see a stray shower, especially across the north on Tuesday, otherwise sunny, breezy, upper 70s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Shamrock Liquor Warehouse, 5609 Midland Boulevard, your leader in fine wines, beers, and spirits. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Wood sets and deals 0-2. He struck him out looking, and this one belongs to the Razorbacks. A fastball at the knees. A run in the ninth inning for South Carolina. One hit, one error, and one left, but the Hogs win it 9-6, and they get a road series win in Columbia, taking 2 out of 3 with a split doubleheader. Well done.
Do you have apples and Snickers between games?
You want me to bring you some or what? Everybody got a smoothie if they wanted one. 3 different kinds: bananas, Snickers, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that's about it.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Kristen Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bensenville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Detroit, Michigan, home of the NFL draft this week, where Kansas City Chiefs fans, Dallas Cowboys fans, and fans from all over the country will head up to Michigan and watch their team either make the right or wrong decision for their future moving forward. I know I get excited about this week. I know that I've already had several people reach out to me about who they think their team's going to take, who they want. Maybe some Arkansas Razorbacks get drafted, not on around night 1, but later on this week signing free agent deals. That's where we're going to start here in hour number 3 of the Morning Rush. You heard Dave Van Horn and a baseball highlight from our buddy Phil Elson as Arkansas got a series win over South Carolina. We'll come back to that. NBA playoffs last night. Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams helped get Oklahoma City a Game 1 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans, as did Patrick Beverly and Bobby Portis, 2 for the Bucks over the Pacers. All that is coming up in hour number 3 here on a Hot Take Monday, brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. The Brinkley RV is here for you, along with their Grand Design and Forest River products. The Brinkley Model Z is the latest innovation of luxury fifth wheels, and it comes with that lifetime warranty so you can get out in the natural state and camp with confidence. Come on by and see why Wheels RV has been voted the best RV dealer year after year, 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on The Morning Rush is presented by Sawyer's. Sunrooms, patio covers, pergolas, driveways, and windows, including decorative concrete. 100% financing available. No job too small or large. Everything for the outside of the house.
Chuck, I don't know if it's a guarantee that we see an Arkansas Razorback drafted this week. I think if, as a Packers guy, if I had to have my pick, I think they're probably going to hold on to Anders Carlson, so Cam Little's probably not an option, but I wouldn't mind seeing Dwight McLaughlin in gray and yellow this upcoming season.
Well, that wouldn't be bad. I think if you're a Packer fan, you always like having, guys you like on the team. I think there are going to be guys that get chances through free agent routes. I think there are going to be some that don't get drafted that get a look or two. It's such a crapshoot. Just overall with the NFL draft. You were talking about the quarterbacks a little earlier, and I was looking at the mock draft, or the latest one that I saw anyway, and 4 of the top 5 projected picks are quarterbacks. And so that tells you you've got 4 franchises that are, looking for a franchise quarterback, looking for the next face of their team, looking for somebody who can do for them what Patrick Mahomes has done for Kansas City or what other quarterbacks over the years have done for their teams. I don't know if there's one of those guys in that group, but every year there's an NFL team willing to draft somebody that plays quarterback way up high, give them a lot of upfront money because, if you catch one that can change the face of your team, then that's great for everybody.
Here's my hot take this morning. I think Jaden Daniels is the only quarterback worth drafting high. I'm not a Caleb Williams believer. I know he's got some attributes as Patrick Mahomes does that people cling to. Never thought anything high of Drake May. I think Jay McCarthy's rising makes no sense to me. Bo Nix couldn't cut in the SEC. What makes you think he can cut in the National Football League? I like Michael Penix. I just think he's a little too frail and fragile. He's had injuries throughout his career. Rattler has apparently wooed some people lately. I just don't know if I see him projecting the highest. Daniels is the only guy I think that's surefire in this week, Chuck.
I don't think any of them are surefire. And I think a lot of it depends on where you go, which team ends up drafting you, and how you handle it when you're not as good right off the bat as everybody thinks you ought to be, because that's inevitable. I think about Baker Mayfield, just from right over there at Oklahoma. Baker was written off. I mean, he was a bust, a wasted draft pick. Well, he's developed into a very good NFL quarterback. He's 28 years old. We expected him to come in and be Tom Brady when he was 22. Tom Brady was not all that hot when he first came into the league. Troy Aikman went 1-15 in his rookie season. We're asking these guys, and it's because of the guaranteed money. We're asking these guys to come in and be great right out of the chute, and it's impossible. It's like asking a freshman quarterback in the SEC to come in and win you a championship. Man, those guys are generational when they can do that. And the expectations placed on quarterbacks out of the gate are just wildly unrealistic now. So my answer to that in terms of which one of them makes it, the one that's got the most staying power, because none of them's going to be a star right out of the gate.
So if you were the Chicago Bears general manager, Chuck, would you go with Daniels, who we got a chance to see, not just in person, but I watched him several times this year, or Caleb Williams? If those were your two options, who would? I'm going Daniels, and I don't think twice about it, but people sure seem high on Caleb Williams and what he could bring to the table with some of the throws he's made.
Well, I mean, the Bears' issues go way beyond quarterback. Yeah. I mean, if drafting a quarterback was the answer, I mean, the Bears would be back in the 80s, man. I mean, they'd be dominant. They've drafted a bunch of them. They've rolled the dice on some guys, and they've not stuck with any of them.
Mm-mm.
Nope. They give up on them too quickly. That's what losing franchises do. You're not winning. You need a guy to come in and change things right away. There are very few of those guys out there. There just aren't many of them out there. And, you got future Hall of Famers, again, who've not been very good at all right out of the gate. And we expect somebody like, Daniels or Drake May or one of these other guys to come in and be an all-pro right away. I do know one thing. There's a lot of defensive ends ready to catch Caleb Williams' blind side.
Yep.
He's going to get a helmet right in the small of his back. They already don't like that guy.
I can't wait. This is a text from Cajun on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. The 7-round mock draft that he keeps seeing Bo Limmer and Dwight McArthur going in the 5th round, Cam Little and Brady Latham going in the 2nd round. Tyler Greenwood saying the NFL does a terrible job at evaluating quarterbacks. Tyler, I think
so too.
It's just hard, I feel like, to encompass everything you have to in terms of scouting and film.
I know. And look, playing quarterback is different in the NFL than it is in college. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot easier to make something out of nothing in college football as opposed to the National Football League. If you're going to have a quarterback that, in college you want a guy that can run so the defense has to account for you numbers-wise. In the NFL, the shelf life on those guys is 2 or 3 years. And they're always hurt. And there's always an issue physically. if you're not built like Lamar, if you're not built like a Mack truck, your life as an NFL quarterback playing that style of football is not going to be very long. That's one of the reasons I think it's so difficult for them to evaluate college quarterbacks and what's going to translate into the NFL.
Yeah, you just never know about injuries and if there's the injury history or something that you maybe figure out.
Well, what do they do when you have to stay in the pocket? When you have to stay back there? When you can't take off running because there's an outside linebacker that's as fast as you are?
If not faster.
He's been in the league, and he's a grown man. He's 27. He's been in the league. He knows every move. He knows every move you're going to make.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just a different position and a different game.
Cody from Lavaca chimes in on the McLarty Dana Hotline saying this draft is getting more and more hype for the QB position, and he doesn't even think it's that talented this year. I'm with you 100%, Cody. Now Titus chimes into what your point, Chuck. He says, "I'm built like a Chrysler K car." That's how he.
Well, you know.
That's how he.
That's the deal. I mean. You're going to get hit by a guy that's bigger than you and just as fast.
Cody says that adding to your list, you were talking about some Hall of Famers that had terrible starts. Peyton Manning went 3-13 and threw 2 more interceptions and touchdown in his year. And there's a certain level of impatience that we've seen grow more and more because you do see, it's unfortunate, but you do see guys like Patrick Mahomes who has instant success. And he's better now than he was I think 7 years ago, but what he's been able to accomplish, or even Joe Burrow, who I know tore his ACL his first year, but we saw what kind of quarterback he could be from the jump.
Let's be honest. Anybody who watched Arkansas play Texas Tech those 2 years, how many of you drove away that night thinking, man, that Mahomes kid, he's going to be in the Hall of Fame? Nobody said that. You just don't know. And a lot of it does, who's got staying power? Who can handle everything that's going to come their way? And I don't just mean from a football sense. And look, Patrick Mahomes, I think the best thing that happened to Patrick Mahomes was he got to play in Kansas City. He didn't have to play in New York or L.A. or Chicago. He got to play in Kansas City. Pretty forgiving crowd. And that was a big benefit to him. Some of these guys are going to go into markets where they're just going to get eaten alive. And because they're kids. We think of them as full-fledged grown-ups, and they're not. Some of them just get swallowed up.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult than the college media that they were having to deal with. So I mentioned it's in Detroit this surge. It's been in Kansas City, Nashville recently. I think the NFL draft is one of the more underappreciated events. It's something I'd like to go to maybe closer. Detroit's a little far for me, but do you have any desire? Like, I want to go. Have you been to a draft before, Chuck? My dad has.
No, I was not raised on the draft. Your generation was raised on the draft. There was not a big when ESPN was still fledgling ESPN, I mean, they did some stuff, but not like they do now. I mean, back then you had Mel Kiper, and that was about it. Now you've got everybody. I mean, they got NFL shows all day long on these channels, and you got to have programming. So that's one of the things, too, that's made the draft a big deal is they need programming, and if you're going to put it on TV, you got to turn it into a show.
On the subject of the NFL, college football had some rules that came down this weekend, and the more and more that we discuss and watch college football, I think the lines are blurred between college football and professional. Chuck, 2-minute warning, helmets in the radio, tablets, agents have come about these last few years. I mean, it used to be you knew exactly what you were talking about when you were discussing one sport versus another. It was easy to pick up on in the middle of a conversation, but now they're as similar as they've ever been. And personally, I don't know if that's good for college football. I felt like that college football, the distinctions and the differences between NFL made it what it is. And now that we're shifting to more of a professional type of sport, I just don't know if that's good for the long-term future of the sport, and that's sectioned off when it comes to the differences between college and NFL.
Well, I mean, that's a broad subject. There are certain things about college football that definitely have the professional feel now.
Yeah.
And, organizationally, it's becoming a little bit more than that. But just in terms of the draft and the position of quarterback, like we were talking about, there's still just a vast difference. And look, there's a vast difference in the quality of play in even the highest levels of college football and the NFL. These people that say, well, the great college team could, finish above last place in the pros. I mean, that's silly.
Yeah.
And it's no. The best Alabama football team would have been a last place team in the NFL. That's just the reality of the situation. And there is a huge difference between the two levels. Now, I will say this. I was talking to Matt Jones about this the other day, and I hadn't really thought about this, about how some of these quarterbacks, and not just quarterbacks, but maybe some of your other skill guys, they're going to stay in college longer. He cited Bo Nix as an example. Bo Nix ended up staying in college because he was guaranteed money, and some of these guys will stay an extra year, maybe two, because of the guaranteed aspect to NIL money. A guy like Bo Nix said he'd come out, before he went to Oregon. If he'd just come out, he probably wouldn't be playing football right now. That would be my guess. Or if he was, he'd just be hanging on. But instead, he goes out there and cashes in on some money, and it becomes a hotter name. And he's the example we talked about that day. I'm sure there are others if you really look at it more closely. There may be a dividend in terms of the quality of play as a result of NIL. I don't know that we know yet. We're not far enough into it. But I thought that was an interesting point. And it's not something, quite honestly, that I thought about before.
And I would, to that, and it's not just affecting football in terms of maybe keeping players around more, but for basketball, I think we've seen some real quality college basketball these last couple of years. So I would agree, because I was obviously doing that with you and Matt, because I thought that was probably the biggest takeaway from y'all's conversation last week. By the way, Chuck's podcast is going to be out later on this morning, and if you want to tune in for that, hitthatline.com, search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. But I, like you, had never thought about that from that angle, and Matt presented that different one. So
and look, it varies from individual to individual. I mean, you think about just people in your everyday life. Some people start making a lot of money and they quit. Other people start making a lot of money and they want to earn every dime. So it varies, but I just thought that was an interesting take. Hey, if you got a project plan for your home, weather's warming up, I want to talk to you about Sawyer's, Fort Smith. They've been in business since 1990, locally owned and operated by our man Buzz Sawyer. Sunrooms, patios, patio covers, I should say, driveways, windows. That includes decorative concrete. They can do all of that. They've got these new motorized louvered pergolas. Those are all the rage right now, and they've got them at Sawyer's. They've always got 100% financing available. No jobs too large or too small. They're licensed, they're bonded, they're insured on all kinds of projects, commercial, residential, lifetime products and warranties and quality workmanship. Everything for the outside of the house. Sawyer's is the name to remember.
I know that people are wondering where Cal's at right now and what he's been doing. He was at Bogle Park this weekend, and evidently, according to 24/7 Sports, he's going to be talking with Carter Knox today, a former Kentucky commit that is going to be in town for a visit later on. Still wondering about one of his former players, Adu Thiero, who has narrowed it down to 5 schools, including Arkansas. One of the dominoes that has fallen, not in favor of you, but Jeremy Roach has decided to play his final year of college eligibility, the former Duke point guard at Baylor. So those are kind of the notable Arkansas/national news. And we were talking earlier, Chuck, I would guess that you're probably going to hear some commitment news by the end of the week. I was surprised we didn't hear any by the end of this weekend, but I would almost guarantee you'll hear some news by the end of the week.
I would expect to, yes. It sounds like kids are, based on what you see on social media, they're considering Arkansas. And some are visiting, some are just talking, some may already know what they're going to do. I have no idea. But I trust these guys do. They got a track record of signing good ones. And everybody that I have seen on any of these lists that is considering Arkansas has been the type player that, back in the day, whether or not Arkansas was going to get him, would have dominated every talk show in Arkansas, every talk show in the state. They would have been the talk of the town. They're that good. So if we get our share of them, I'm sure everything will be okay.
I did see Kenny Payne on Whole Hog Sports. His contract was out there. It's nearly $1 million. It's $900,000. So again,
money.
yeah, the level of investment that we're seeing within Arkansas basketball has hit new heights, and we saw that when you're paying Cal $7+ million, which was enough for a jump, and we're seeing at least with one assistant salary, and based on putting two and two together, it sure seems like the players that you just mentioned you're being after are considering Arkansas, not just because of Cal, but because of what you would potentially invest too.
Well, money's never an issue when you're winning, and it's always an issue when you're losing. And that's just how the game's played. If they don't want people to gripe about how much money they're making, they got to win. They know that. They've been doing this a long time, and they seem to go hand in hand.
So while that's basketball news that we can expect, keep an eye, keep listening right here on ESPN Arkansas across all our local shows for updates. And we really appreciate Lindbergh Real Estate Team and Maverick Male Medical being a part of our championship under construction. You did get some football commits. One on Friday, Rodney Hill, former Florida State running back, and then also Larry Worth, Jacksonville State linebacker. So I think, again, most of our focus, Chuck, has been on basketball, but football picked up 2 commits this weekend too.
Yeah, they had a good weekend. And, you know, you knew that it would be this way in terms of activity, quick activity in the aftermath of spring practice. So, they zeroed in on who they wanted, and they went and got them. And, again, it's not like, this is not like other times of the year when, you got studs everywhere. You got guys that can start for you everywhere. Although there's still a pretty good amount of activity going on right now.
Yeah, don't be surprised if you see some big-time names, not just on the basketball side of things, enter the portal, but football too. All right, we're going to come back to baseball when we return here on the Morning Rush. Go back to what happened in Columbia this weekend, hear some more from Dave Van Horn. But for now, I want to tell you about our friends at WT Equipment. You always get strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractor, and even large commercial grade equipment. Buy now and save $5,000, $10,000 or more in cash back, or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compact. Hurry in. The offer ends June 30th. WT Equipment, your partner in progress. So Dave Van Horn, happy with this team this weekend. Series win over the South Carolina Gamehawks. We'll hear more from him and you coming up.
Hot Take Monday is brought to you by Wheels RV, Highway 412 in Springdale, and online at wheelsrv.net.
Hey, it was BYOG. Bring your own guns. The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Get ready to roll this season with huge savings during New Holland's Ready to Roll sales event going on now at WT Equipment. Right now, get 0% financing, up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and 72 months on compacts. Or choose cash back and save thousands. Whether you need consistent strength and efficiency for your daily grind or an upgrade for the weekend chores, WT has the machines you need with the deals you want. Subject to credit approval, standard term conditions and restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Give me the hogs, Chuck. Give me the hogs.
Billy, can I ask you a question?
You just did.
Seriously, we are getting a lot of positive comments about you. What's your secret?
Oh, I just follow the 4 W's.
4 W's? Aren't there 5? Fine. Yeah. What, where, when, why, and who?
Wes, who starts with an H?
That's how.
I don't know how. It just does.
No, who starts with a W?
You sure?
Positive.
Anywho, my 4 W's are, what would Wes want? I picture every customer like there's you asking for something. What you want is what they want. What would Wes want? W, 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 4 W's. Makes 8 U's.
Huh?
Treat customers like you, and it doubles the people. Pretty simple the way I see it.
4 W's. What would Wes want? Billy, you're brilliant.
Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. Sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Engagement season is in full swing, and Diamond Center wants to be part of your story. For the entire month of April, we're offering 5 years of 0% interest on purchases. That's right, 5 years, 60 months, 0 interest financing. There has never been a better time to pick out the perfect engagement ring and pop the question. Let Diamond Center help you begin this next step of your journey together with 5 years of 0 interest financing for the entire month of April on all custom design and in-stock pieces of jewelry. Diamond Center, a legacy of love.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
Talk to us again, Ty.
Yeah, I'm not. That's the last time. It's the last time you're going to open the mic. It sounds horrible.
Well, I was hoping for some advice from a veteran in this industry.
Well, if you were looking for sympathy, you're in the wrong place.
I don't want sympathy. It's sympathy. I want a remedy. I want to fix this because I got to do the show on Monday. Voice a lot better than it was on Friday. Still not 100%. I've been drinking this throat coat tea, sucking down cough drops and doing everything I can, but for whatever reason, the voice just went away on Thursday afternoon. Luckily, it's back, or at least it's partially back as we continue on here on a Hot Take Monday. Hey, I want to tell you about our friends at West Arc Plumbing and Expert Drain Services. They've been doing it since 1993. Maybe you have a clogged drain or a water heater that's on the fritz. You can call them at 646-5151. That's 646-5151. 51 to make sure things are flowing your way. Again, been doing it since 1993, and they make sure the money that you spend with them is invested right back in the community. Say no to the crack in your pipes and call your plumber again at West Ark Plumbing, 646-5151. So productive weekend for the Arkansas Razorbacks in Columbia, South Carolina, and really a productive outing for Brady Tigert, who really got back into form against the Gamecocks.
0-2. Petrie foul tips. Roland holds. Strike 3. Tigert escapes the 5th inning with a tying run left at second base.
Chuck, listening to him after the game, him and Kendall Diggs got a chance to hear from both of them after Game 3. Really seemed happy with his performance, and I think he needed that because he hasn't necessarily played as good as he did in that opener against Oklahoma State since then.
Well, if Tigert continues to be the number 3 starter, or even if he's the number 2 starter, when you get into the NCAA tournament, you don't necessarily want to be in this situation. But there's a possibility he may be pitching in an elimination game. He may be starting a game that you have to win. It'd be nice if you could roll through everything and never lose a ball game in the postseason, but it doesn't work that way. I was encouraged by the way he pitched in a game Arkansas had to win. They had to win if they were going to win the series. I'm not saying the season was riding on the outcome, but the series obviously was. I like it when they pitch in pressure situations because I think that's the difference. When you get into June is who can handle the moment. There's lots of good players out there, lots of good pitchers. Tigert's got good stuff. Hagen Smith's got good stuff, but there are lots of other guys who do too. And how you handle that moment generally is, in my opinion anyway, my observation's been those are the guys that generally are still standing when it's over.
And we've talked about Gabe Gackle a little bit this morning. I think about another true freshman in Nolan Souza. I am curious, though. We were speaking of playoff basketball earlier, how just different and how much more physical it is than maybe the regular season. I'm curious to those two guys and maybe some other guys that haven't played a lot in postseason for Arkansas, how they handle themselves, because Brady's been through a lot of stuff freshman and sophomore year, but some of the guys that aren't necessarily accustomed to playing in those pressure-packed situations, I know we got to wait till June, but it's closer than we think it is in about a month and a half.
Well, all you can do is, win the games that are as close to that situation as you find yourself in the regular season, and that's the kind of ball game that they won on Saturday. And there's going to be other games like this in the regular season. And I can tell you from being around teams over the years, sometimes when you're winning, that's when the tension's at its highest.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that's expected, and there's so much on the line. And the talent, again, just through observation, watching these guys work, the talent is being able to balance that sense of urgency with the day-to-dayness that you have to maintain in a game like baseball. It's a fine line. I mean, it really is. But lots of teams have good players. But where your makeup when you get into the games that matter can be the tipping point.
Now Arkansas's talent has shown through so far in conference play. 14-4. They lead the SEC West right now, a game up over Texas A&M, who they will close out with before heading to Hoover. Kentucky at 15-3. That will be your first weekend matchup in May. Softball team also had a good week, and let's welcome in Phil, who now joins us on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Phil, you had some thoughts on Arkansas softball this weekend.
Yeah, Corny's been playing. Corny and the team's been playing really good. They're kind of quiet. I think they're kind of like the sleeping giant. Because right now, and you don't hear a lot about them. I mean, you hear it at the win, but like they've won multiple. Series like for this week, like this weekend, they beat Alabama, which they in the last few years been consistently beating Alabama. But here's my question, and Chuck, I'm glad you're here. I want to pose this: is right now you're hearing about Calipari and you're hearing about Van Horn and stuff like this. Why doesn't the U of A push the girls women's athletic? Because, and let's just honestly, the last year. I think that the women's program has been outdoing the men's. For example, soccer. You look at soccer; they've been successful. Volleyball's successful. Gymnastics just went to a possible national final. Which has never been done. Courtney's consistently been doing the softball. Why does U of A not push the women's and promote it more than they do? They promote it more than they do the men right now, because successfully right now, they're more successful than the men's program has been.
Well, I think the bigger question there, and that's a good question, I can assure you that from a promotional standpoint, what the U of A is promoting, to use the term you used, it's the same. I mean, you go to their website, you go to the number of releases that they send out, there's no difference. Mm-hmm. Now, what I would call the media outlets that follow the Razorbacks, that cover the Razorbacks, they may not be talking about it as much as some would like. But now I will say this. I mean, the softball parks, the place, it was packed.
Yeah, Bogle's packed.
Over the weekend. I mean, for that, we talked about Cal being there, Big Z. They weren't the only ones. There were a lot of people there. Mm-hmm. You been to a soccer game lately? That gymnastics meet at Bud Walton Arena, very, very well attended. So I think women's athletics, now look, they've not drawn as well in women's basketball because they've not been winning. That's just the truth. When they win, they'll come back. They'll be there, just like they are at the other venues. And if you're successful, people will come watch. But in terms of U of A promotion, I can tell you there's other than manpower, and that's dictated by the number of people that come watch your games, the promotion's the same. And whatever they're doing to promote, it's working because people are coming. And I've been around here a long time, and, there were not people that went to the soccer and softball games like this in the not too recent or not too distant past.
Yeah, they had over 3,900 in attendance on Saturday night in Bogle Park. Ladies did lose that game, but they ended up crushing Alabama on Sunday.
Hey, let me say one more thing before you go to a break. The comment about Courtney. I've always maintained teams take on the personalities of their coaches. She is low-key. She just goes about her business. She's so humble in the way she carries herself, at least from the outside looking in, and that's what I see from her team.
Yep, and they played like it on Sunday in that final closeout game. While the women's softball team will not be in Fayetteville this weekend, they're heading to Baton Rouge to take on the number 7 ranked LSU Tigers. Baseball team is back in town. You're taking on the Florida Gators and the hot back of Jack Caglione, who is one of the best players in not just the SEC, but all of college baseball. And if you're looking for tickets this weekend, go to SeatGeek.com. It's the official resale marketplace of Razorback Athletics. Again, Florida team coming in with some star power. Get a chance to watch them this weekend. When we return, we'll wrap it up with our SEC update on Hot Take Monday.
The Cal era is here. Championship Under Construction is brought to you by Lindbergh Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. The fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. Go to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. Bet online, where the game starts.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line podcast network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor A from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the #1 source for all your sports betting this season and every season. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends all at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting.
SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Trusted pool experts and your source for backyard fun. Locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com.
Brady Tigard and Kendall Diggs are 2 big reasons why Arkansas is #1 in the SEC West. Both had things to say following the series win over South Carolina. Thought it was kind of interesting how Kendall Diggs put it in terms of where the pitching is versus where they are hitting the baseball.
We're a lot tougher than
a lot of teams in the country. And I mean, it just shows that we're Arkansas Razorbacks are really hard to beat.
Yeah, I think it shows a lot of promise, especially as a whole. You know, we're not even really clicking to our, full potential. Obviously, the guys on the mound are doing an outstanding job, but as far as the offense, we're getting the job done, but we're not even close to where we're going to be. So it's a really good sign.
Your Kendall closed it out there. That is the hope, because Arkansas statistically is not great in a lot of batting statistics and categories, and you hope they improve. At best, this team can win the whole thing, but they can also lose in a regional, as we saw last year, if the hitting does not click. And the hope is that it does, because you have the talent, you have the bats, and you have the capability to do so. We'll just have to wait and see. You have 2 big series remaining. I would say the 2 biggest being going to Lexington the first weekend of May, and then closing out conference play before the SEC tournament, welcoming in Texas A&M. Christian, Texas A&M is right behind you in the SEC West standings, and Kentucky leads the East at 15-3.
Yeah, hitting is all about timing, and you want to be hitting well at the right time, that's for sure. That just shows how hard it is to hit. I mean, we've got a really good lineup, and it's not been what people have expected at this point, but the pitching has. And what matters at the end is winning games, and they have done that. They're 34-6. Texas A&M. Now, it seems like their offense is clicking right now.
37 runs in Tuscaloosa this weekend combined. Yeah. It was pretty spectacular. They win 2 of 3 on the road in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee went to Kentucky and took 2 of 3. So a big weekend for the Volunteers and the Aggies. Again, that was the setup to what happened this weekend in the Southeastern Conference. Kentucky got a basketball commit. You're still waiting on your upcoming basketball commits. According to 24/7 Sports, Carter Knox supposed to visit Fayetteville today. That's one of the guys that Cal had committed to Kentucky before he left here for Fayetteville. Maury Williams, the Drexler Center, has committed to Mark Pope and the Kentucky Wildcats. I haven't seen a lot of commitments, to be honest. A lot of guys I still think are trying to bide their time, wait on where they could potentially end up, best NIL deal, other factors. We did see Jeremy Roach is elected to continue to play college basketball at Baylor, but that is one of the big SEC commits that happened over the weekend. One of your actual basketball commits is Big Z, and Zvonimir Ivichis was at Bogle Park this weekend and did his first hog call. I thought he did a pretty good job. Here's the introduction in Big Z's first hog call.
Welcome the newest member of the Razorback men's basketball team to Fayetteville. Yeah. Let's please welcome 7'2" forward from Croatia, Zvonimir Ivichis. Let's join Big Z and show him how we call those calls.
Yeah, first time. It's like all of y'all when you were kids. You get better as time goes on, and Big Z will get better as one of our favorite traditions here in the natural state happened in Bogle Park this weekend, which, by the way, Courtney Deifel in the softball program, we mentioned this earlier, got a series win over Alabama. First time in softball history that they've had that back to, again, first time in history, Christian, that it's ever happened where you beat Alabama back-to-back.
Yeah, I think this is one of those seasons where they're kind of flying under the radar. This could be the year that softball, surprises some people. They're a good team, and their record shows that. And, beating Alabama, they're one of the great programs in the SEC. So that's a good step forward, and you just hope it all comes together in the postseason and they're able to break through. And that's kind of been their Achilles heel so far.
You'd like to get to Oklahoma City. It's close in proximity to a lot of our state, and it would be cool to see Courtney Deifel and her team do it for the first time ever in 2024. That is your SEC update this morning. It's brought to you by our friends, as always, at Burton Pools and Spas. It's their 46th anniversary, and you're going to get great deals on in-ground pools and savings up to $12,000. Construction can start in May. You're also going to get up to $1,200 off Doughboy above-ground pools and $5,000 off Doughboy semi-in-ground pools. And hot tubs start at an unbelievable price of just $39.99. Celebrate with us and pocket huge savings at Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith. At Burton, we do more than build pools. We build long-term relationships. That's burtonpools.com. It's been a good show this morning. Tommy will be back later on this week, he's got a nice little well-deserved vacation here in April. He'll call it a trip, but it's vacation 3 days. He's golfing in whereabouts unknown, but doing that and having a good week as we have some Arkansas baseball and some other stuff to talk about here on Hot Take Monday. Appreciate Chuck joining us as always. Tomorrow, I'm going to try and get Kyle Yeomans on, Dallas Cowboy guy, covers the team for pre and post game, and also some other guests. Maybe Kendall Rogers will sprinkle in what he thinks of Arkansas from a national vantage point throughout the week. Maybe you missed this last night, but or not just last night, but over the weekend, several Razorbacks had impactful games in the NBA as the NBA playoffs are underway. The NBA playoff teams the home ones are all 8-0 from the last couple of days, which I thought was interesting, including the Milwaukee Bucks and Bobby Portis, who had a stellar game, 15 points and 11 rebounds and assists. Patrick Beverley added 5.7 rebounds and 8 assists, also had 2 steals. And then last night, it was Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe who held the Razorback flag up. Jalen had 2 3-pointers, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists, and then Isaiah had his 1-3 last night.
For Oklahoma City. Joe, corner. Hey, go.
Listen, I'm usually not a proponent of bandwagon fans, but if you want to jump on the Oklahoma City bandwagon with me, and I will admit I'm a terrible Oklahoma City fan. I have not watched them as consistently as I used to back in the day. I need to be better about it, especially in the playoffs. But you think about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Cason Wallace, 2 Cal guys. Then you've got Jalen and Isaiah, both, of course, former Arkansas Razorback and Fort Smith Northside Grizzlies. If you're going to pick a team, pick them, or Big C. You can pick your Dallas Mavericks, who lost a game 1 to the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah, that was surprising. They were without Kawhi Leonard. The Mavericks came out flat, and the Clippers came out like they had to have that game, and that was a big win for the Clippers. I mean, I'm sure they'll get Kawhi back at some point, but they couldn't really afford to lose that game, especially losing both at home. So that was a big win for them. I expect Dallas to bounce back. I expect Gafford to bounce back and play better, even with Kawhi Leonard on the team for the Clippers. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, you're right, they're an exciting young team, but still need to show me a little bit personally. You're playing the Pelicans, and got a close win, but a win's a win. I just, you'd like to see a little more dominance from them.
It's the 1 seed, yeah,
because they're going to have to play a lot better to beat Denver or even the Lakers if they get to that point. So I like the NBA playoffs. They're exciting.
Yeah, and some of you, this is the only time you watch the NBA. Others that you've been a solid fan for a number of years of a certain team. I'm trying to get myself back into it just to turn on the television at night to TNT or ESPN because of the playoffs being back on. But plenty of games these next few days in the NBA playoffs. All right, that's going to wrap up here on a Hot Take Monday. Again, appreciate everyone joining us. Chuck's podcast is going to be out later on this morning, the Give Me the Hawks Chuck podcast. If you ever want to listen to that, hitthatline.com or our Hit That Line podcast network. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. He'll wrap up his thoughts on the weekend. Now, I had some issues coming home yesterday. My phone stopped charging, so I'm going to have to get this figured out. But the reason I bring that up is, Christian, there's this place in Italy, in Verona, that is offering a free bottle of wine, but you have to give up your phone for the entire dinner. Do you think you could be without your phone for the entire dinner for a free bottle of wine with you and your wife?
I definitely think I could do it. I'm not a huge wine drinker, but man,
just to say you did it?
But just say I did it. That shouldn't be too hard, right?
I wonder if I could actually do that. I was having withdrawals yesterday when my phone died.
Well,
and
it looks like it's charging now, right?
Yeah, well, it's charged up, but it's saying it's not charging, so I've got to get that figured out after the show. As always, our Hot Take Monday is brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas. Go see Chris, go see Lee J, go see their entire team, and check out the new Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. They're voted best of the best year after year, 5 miles west off exit 72 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with our friends at Wheels RV. And again, Bud Light Morning Rush podcast will be up after the show, after the program concludes. So we'll make sure to have that for you in addition to the Give Me the Hogs Chuck podcast. All right, for Big C, for Chuck Barrett, for all of our listeners via the McLarty Daniel Hotline, I'm Ty Richardson. Enjoy your Monday. Back in these chairs tomorrow at 6 a.m.
April 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.